I came to this conclusion the other day. The Miami Dolphins are having a rough season. Obviously, 1-6. They have not played well. They have not coached well. But Vlad, they're also having a very bad season at the podium, if you haven't noticed. More so than normal. This team is bad at the podium. Tua Tagovailoa going out there.
They've been bad at the podium. This is not the first year. Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel. Hey, you guys always laughing about you always asking us about the offensive tackle, the offensive line. We laugh at that. That was bad.
They also came to us and told us the secondary was not an issue this year.
So yeah, there's been a lot of bad anytime the mic's been on, and it started since the preseason when you and I both noticed during that game against the Lions when Mike Cunha asked from CBS4 asked Tua about his relationship with Tyreek, and then he started giving information that nobody even asked for. It was like, all right, this guy, what's going on? He's too honest.
And then to compound that this week, Tua explains why he hasn't thrown it to Waddle that much in the Browns game and says, basically, I can't see over the line. What are you doing, Tua? You never admit to your affairs. Whew. So, with that being said, Tyreek Hill goes on. Teron Armstead. How much do we miss Teron Armstead this year? And Calais Campbell. We warned you. But he goes on Teron Armstead's podcast, and you figure, Tyreek not playing with his mouth. This is going to be interesting. And it was interesting. But was it scary if you're a Dolphins fan? I don't know. First thing, we'll touch on three things that I really want to talk about. Number one, Tyreek Hill did admit that with the serious injury that he has in his leg and with everything going on, that retirement is on the table. But right now he's focused on his recovery. Vlad, I could see, first of all, I don't think Tyreek Hill wants to retire. But I don't know how much of a want and how much of a allowed to play would go on with this. Tyreek Hill, I think he's the type of guy that wants to play forever. He, as much as you want to say about his antics and craziness, he does have a true passion for football. But once again, will the body allow him?
If you go from last year with all the injuries that the team was having, he had a down year. But he also was injured himself. He was coming back from injury, even though he was playing. But I don't know if Tyreek's dip in stats is because of his skill set or the play of his quarterback or quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So that was before the injury. I didn't know, even though his numbers weren't that big, weren't the Tyreek standards. Now that he's hurt, and it could be a career-threatening injury.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's going to still have that superpower that he had, the speed. I mean, even though a lot of people said he should be able to still be able to run, but was the skills already diminishing and this injury is like the final nail? Or was he also hampered by injuries and downplay of his quarterbacks? And then now this injury, can he come back and become at least not the 100% of old Tyreek, but at least 75, 80% of old Tyreek? We'll see.
Vlad, this is a very serious injury. Honestly, I think they're underplaying how serious. People have had serious injuries like this before, and they rushed him to the hospital, not just because there could be some damage, it's because their life could be in danger because arteries and stuff could be, hurt. And then a lot of the times they'll say this with an injury like this, people say, well, will they ever play again? They're like, we're more worried if they'll ever walk again. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be that serious or bad, but Tyreek Hill coming back would be quite an accomplishment. That's a very serious injury. But if he comes back, Vlad, you can't expect him to be 100%. But if he retires, we see what the Miami Dolphins are without him right now.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're really bad.
But they were bad with him.
They were bad with him, but they're really bad now. Tyreek Hill, though, contemplating retirement. We shall see. Another thing Tyreek Hill said, which kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit. Did you hear when asked about Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah, he said Tua's a leader.
Praised him. Said he is a leader of this team. Had nothing but good things to say about him. With everything that's going on, I'll say, Vlad, I told you, I'm worried about Tyreek Hill going into the season. I was like, he's saying all the right things right now, but what if we get 0-3 or things start off bad? and he jumped ship. And next thing you know, the season has been just ruined. He has been the least of our problems, at least inside the locker room. He plays hard. He doesn't talk all that noise. He seems to be a leader. The team thinks he's a leader. Tyreek Hill's been a stand-up guy this year, especially with everything that's been going on and the dirtiness that they tried to get him with a couple times on TV. It's been a bad year for Tyreek. You do have to admit that.
It's been an up and down year for Tyreek, but he's actually looking better now than he did when this as a teammate, as a player within the fan base. I think a lot of people are starting to see that, maybe it wasn't fully his fault. There was just no leadership from the top to bottom in this with this organization. So yeah, Tyreek. So like I said, he has a lot to think about. But I mean, if he did call it a career, what a career.
Yeah. You wouldn't blame him at all for whatever reason he would decide to call it a career, whether his body won't allow him to, or whether he just can't do it anymore. I understand that. I understand. And I am one of these people that's willing to give guys a pass when they make, when you want to call it a crime of passion. Tyreek Hill, when everybody says he quit on the team, he was frustrated at the end of a frustrating season in a game that meant absolutely nothing. I think he let his emotions get the most of him, and he said and did some things that he shouldn't have done. And all you can do when you do that is say you're sorry and make amends for it, and that's what he's done. Tua, I give him a little bit of a pass because he went out and he didn't throw an individual under the bus, but he kind of said some things.
Time out.
I think he was frustrated.
On that first part you just said, I'm going to shoot Tyreek a little bit. That cameraman didn't need to be all up in their grill like that. Like, come on, man. Have some class.
Also, I mean, once again, we're going to, I understand.
Mean, the cameraman was right in there, like right next to Jalen Waddle, like right next to them.
Yeah.
Like he did his job. Don't get it twisted. The cameraman did his job and he got something that wasn't supposed to be heard on mic.
And the other thing is we talked to people that were there, and Tyreek Hill, credit to him, did not want to speak to anybody, they said. He was forced basically to speak to the media. So he knew he was really upset and really passionate. And like a good, smart person would do is say, I need to remove myself from the situation, but And once again, you make the money, you got to go along with it. I understand that. So I can't give Tyreek, say, oh, it's okay, but then tell Tua you make $51 million, you got to play better. I understand that. And I'm willing to even kind of forgive Tua for the first time after the San Diego game, after the Los Angeles Chargers game, kind of frustrated. I didn't like his apology because he didn't just say, I made a mistake. We got to keep that in the house, onto the Browns. He threw in the whole media makes a big deal. My words got twisted. My teammates know. Nobody needs that. Make an apology, stick to it. But nonetheless, I'm more willing to forgive these moments of frustration as long as they're isolated. And then you do the right thing, which Tyreek Hill has done. So then they ask him about who do you think's on the hot seat for the Miami Dolphins? And Tyreek Hill kept it a buck, Vlad. Got to keep it a buck. He said, honestly, everyone's on the hot seat for the Miami Dolphins. And honestly, Vlad, he's right. I don't see anybody that is safe on this team right now.
I mean, if there's one guy that's safe, it's probably Achan, but meaning safe, if he and his agent demand a trade, noticing that he doesn't see a future with this team. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm just saying that if there's one person, but you asked me a question, if there's one person I think that's safe in this organization right now, it's probably Achan, probably Patrick Paul. There's a couple players that are safe, but everybody else, who knows?
The old juvenile saying, for the right price, I'll bust the right frame. I mean,
damn.
Chris Greer, once again, I think he's safe as far as continuing to work with the Dolphins. I don't think he's safe as general manager. He might get reassigned later on this year. Mike McDaniel, we definitely know he's not 100%. He's not safe. Tua, the contract makes it a little iffy.
Really? I mean,
cut like a Daniel Jones cut.
But if they have a top 3 pick and draft a quarterback, they could Kirk Cousins him.
Yeah, like Daniel Jones and cut him. Best thing that ever happened to Daniel Jones.
It's a hit.
You do take a hit,
but you just have him. You still pay him, but just have him as a backup.
And you don't think guys like Jordan Brooks, Terrell Dotson, those guys, their value is pretty good. Jalen Phillips, of course, Bradley Chubb. No, they're young,
but whoever the new coach is going to be, he's going to he's gonna wipe out any semblance of the old guard, and he's gonna have his own coaches, the players that he want,
Rightfully
all of
so.
that.
Rightfully so.
That's why when just to use like the Jets for example, when Woody Johnson was asked at the owners meeting this week about Aaron Glenn, he said Aaron Glenn is still the coach of the Jets. Yeah, Jets are a bad organization that have to get the stench of the old regime out in order for him to start really inputting his ideology, his thought, his characteristic, his personality on this team, his culture. So therefore, that's going to happen with the new coach. The new coach is going to come in here and do a wipeout, just like Cristobal did with the Canes.
Right, but that's the thing people don't understand. Things just don't turn around overnight. Becoming a championship team is a process. Let's just look at the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a process. They get Andy Reid. They get Patrick Mahomes. They get Travis Kelce. They get the defense that's set up. They go through the draft. They get these players. It's not like they just drafted Patrick. Everybody wants to just say they drafted Patrick Mahomes and they became a championship team.
No, they're already a good team. They just did the things to do. They saw the quarterback that they liked, that they figured would lead them in the future, and they moved up to get him, and they got him.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen just overnight.
No, listen, Detroit.
Look at the Eagles.
Using the example of the Jets hired Aaron Glenn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Where did he come from? Detroit. Remember, Man Campbell's first season wasn't like 1-15 or something like that.
They were bad,
and then it was what 6-11, 6-10 or something like that. Then they went 9-8, and then they started becoming the dominant team that they are now. But if you look at their draft, they drafted very well from 2021 to 23. They drafted very well. They drafted they got at least 2 All-Pros or 2 Pro Bowlers in every year of that draft, along signing good free agents. So yeah, it takes a lot.
Look at the Eagles. They were bad for a while. They got Nick Sirianni. They got Jalen Hurts. They had that really good draft after they lost the Super Bowl. They had that 10-1 start, then that debacle. Everybody wanted Nick Sirianni fired, but they grew through it all. And through all that, then, of course, you get Saquon Barkley. Then it all comes together. But it's not as simple as, we'll just blow it up this season. We'll draft Fernando Mendoza, and next year we'll be a playoff team. No. And sometimes it takes a couple of, I hate to say it, 7 and 10 seasons here and there to grow, to learn, to get the right personnel in. People don't want that. I don't know if this Dolphins team is growing towards anything right now. It might be going in the wrong direction, but it's not an overnight thing. But right now, everybody is on the hot seat, and there's not a lot of answers. With that being said, Falcons come to town tomorrow. Number 1 pass defense in the league. It's a quarterback who threw 100 yards.
We're going to Atlanta. You guys are going to Atlanta.
It's not here?
No.
Oh, man. Busy this week.
No.
Go. So you get the number 1 pass defense in the dome with a quarterback who's struggling mentally and physically.
Yeah, but Atlanta's struggling themselves.
I mean, they got run over by San Francisco. I'll watch that game.
So maybe CMC. The Dolphins could do the same thing.
Any given Sunday, Vlad. Any given Sunday. But I keep waiting for this, and I say this every week. This is the week the Dolphins, they have some pride. They go out there and they really, show their best. And they just keep not really doing it.